Hey guys, Paul here. Today I wanted to talk about something that I've kind of noticed in the last year of the game, and don't worry, it's positive. I don't only get on here to complain. It's the Yu-Gi-Oh! Pseudo archetypes. I guess that'd be the right name for them. Archetypes that are open-ended and kind of allow you to do your own thing with them. So what do I mean by that? Well, basically, I'm talking about stuff like Dogmatika, stuff like Tri-Brigade, and a few others that I will be talking about in this video. But the reason why I like them so much is because for a while in Yu-Gi-Oh, we kind of had a bit of archetype, I don't know, like just too many archetypes that were like so self-centered. So many walled garden archetypes, they would lock you into the archetype itself. So, you can only summon insert archetype here monsters for the rest of the turn, or, whatever. They did type lock you in some way. I like that things like Dogmatika almost don't even function as just their own deck. Dogmatika can go into a lot of different decks. It's kind of more of like an engine or a suite or a package, or I don't know, whatever the players are calling it these days. But, like you can run Ecclesia, Nadir Servant, and like one Fleur-de-Lis, or you can run, that same thing with Dogmatika Punishment. You don't have to completely commit to a whole Dogmatika engine. You can run maybe just 5, 6, 7 cards and then combine it with other things. We've seen Dogmatika Invoked. We've seen Dogmatika Eldlich. We've seen Dogmatika plenty of things. And speaking of Invoked and Eldlich, those are both also archetypes like that. Eldlich is one that's kind of newer. It's fun. I think my favorite thing about Eldlich is that while it certainly functions as its own deck, and you can play it with a kind of devout zombie strategy, people combine Eldlich with everything. Now I know that people have mixed opinions as to whether or not, that's because obviously it's one of the better engines, so it can be a little annoying to face. But I think that it's cool that Eldlich can kind of take a lot of lower tier strategies and make them surprisingly more viable, and that's really fun to me. It'd be nice if certain cards were a little bit, less expensive. The same goes for Dogmatika too. But I think that's cool. I think that gives more creativity. It leaves more creativity in the player's hands as to how you want to mix and match decks. Another really good example is Tri-Brigade. This is one that at first I wasn't overly impressed with it, but it's honestly started to make a really big impact. The Tri-Brigade Lyrilusk deck is very popular, but you can combine Tri-Brigades with so many things. Melfi and Fire Fist and Harpy Ladies and all of these things. And we've seen different variations on this deck do well because it's so open-ended and because it's so easy to just sort of take it and put it in something else, and suddenly that something else now has extra plays. I can't believe I forgot about Zodiacs. Yeah, Zodiac Tri-Brigade, that's a really big one. Ancient Warriors, there's another one. There's so many. That's the fun part. I really like Tri-Brigade because outside of looking cool and everything like that, I mean, they literally can work in any of the whole beast family of types, and that's something that I think Yu-Gi-Oh's kind of needed. I always remember a period of time where I thought it would be cooler if Yu-Gi-Oh went for more kind of open-ended type-based support rather than just, okay, it's an archetype, but if you're in the archetype, you're good, and if you're out, then it's bad. I don't know. I like Tri-Brigade for that reason. There have even been some more low-key ones that I kind of dig. For instance, I think Evil Twins are really cool, mostly because they're sort of their own deck, but you almost have to combine them with something to make them work well. And that's sort of fun to me too, is just this idea that you have a deck that's fine, but it literally leaves slots open, and then that's where you can kind of make your Evil Twin Eldlich deck, right? You can make your Evil Twin Unchained deck, and you're able to kind of mix and match stuff, and I think that's fun. That's where a lot of the creativity and freedom of expression in Yu-Gi-Oh lies, is with this ability to, take different things that you like and put them all together. Obviously, it's not perfect, I guess. Like I said, some of these cards are expensive. Nadir Servant it's pricey, so is Ecclesia, stuff like that. Obviously, Cursed Eldlands got a lower price tag as well, but these cards will eventually get reprinted, and one nice thing is that none of them have felt unfair either. So unlike something like Red Eyes Dragoon, which is just I don't know if I'd call that really like a deck, like an archetype or a deck. It's just kind of a thing. People don't really like Dragoon. People have very mixed opinions about, like, whether or not it's balanced and healthy and all that. Dogmatika, I've never really heard anybody complain about Dogmatika. I mean, yeah, granted, it's got strong cards that could perhaps be a little bit irritating to the opponent, but it's never like uninteractively bad or anything. Like, I think that the way that Maximus works, sending stuff to the extra deck, that's kind of cool. I think the Dogmatika Punishment's a really cool new, like, staple trap that's removal and can work differently depending on the deck that you're using it with. You can always just send, like, Elder Entity Intis, but you can also send something like, say, Totally Awesome in a Necroz deck. So now you can do a whole, like, Necroz, Dogmatika build, which is really fun. Or, Shadal's, of course, they're able to send stuff like App Cologne. That's always nice, among other Shadal fusion monsters. And I think that open-endedness, but not brokenness, is cool. Fleur-de-Lis is a really useful card. It's kind of a boss monster for them, but it's not broken. I mean, it can activate and, like, negate stuff and all that, but I mean, it isn't, like, oppressing your opponent or saying they can't do anything. So that's cool. Same goes for Tri-Brigade. Tri-Brigade on their own don't, like, get massive amounts of pluses or anything, but they open up a set of new extra deck monsters. You can get creative and use some neat things with, like, Fire Fist Eagle. You can use that Ancient Warrior monster, the Wind Link monster that, like, bounces stuff. Suddenly that's a lot more applicable now. It's just kind of unique, but I don't think anybody would say that any individual Tri-Brigade monster is, like, broken or unfair. The best one, I guess, is Fractal, but I mean, he just starts combos, and it's not like he makes an entire board just on his own. It's, a good card, but it's not broken. So, I don't know. To me, that's good design. Like, I think that these are the directions I want to see more from Konami. I'm not saying that we haven't ever had it in the past. I mean, it definitely has existed. But I guess I'm not as big a fan of decks that are just sort of walled gardens and you don't really get to add too much else to it. So, yeah, I mean, that's basically it. I think that this is one of the better things that we've seen in Yu-Gi-Oh! Recently, and it's a trend that I really hope to see continue. We're still seeing it almost in the design of new archetypes inadvertently, in a way. Like, Drytron's very much its own thing, but Drytron can also work really easily with ritual monsters. So, that's kind of nice. It's good. It keeps things open. It means that you can mix stuff together. You can use it with your Blue Eyes deck, or you can just use a pure Drytron deck, or you can use it with your fairies or whatever. Anyways, I made enough examples. The point is, this is good stuff. I think it's great. I want to know, what do you guys think? Have you felt that these changes in archetype design have been good, or would you say that perhaps you'd prefer just stronger individual archetypes, or maybe just more support for an older archetype? Though we've been getting a lot of that recently in sets too, so that's also nice, but that's a separate topic. Yeah, I want to hear from you guys. Let me know down in the comments. I really do like reading these. I actually find more joy reading comments on this channel about from these discussions than I do sometimes on main channel, because it's just, I feel like we could have more of like a back and forth here. All right, that's it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Pass turn.